So I'll cherish the old rugged cross till my trophies at last I lay down. I will cling to the old rugged cross. Hey everybody, hope you're having a wonderful day. Today I'm going to be teaching you a finger-picking version of the Old Rugged Cross on the acoustic guitar. If you want the printout tablatures, those can be found on my Patreon page. Thank you to Enya Music for sponsoring this video, and let's get started. The three chords that I'm going to be using are a C chord. I'm going to be using this F variation, or you could use the bar chord F variation, that's totally fine. And we have a G7. This arrangement revolves around the chords. So my chording hand is going to hold a C chord, and my thumb is going to pluck the A string, and my middle finger will pluck the E string at the same time. Then my thumb will move down to the D string. Then index finger will pluck the B string, thumb will pluck the G string, middle finger will pluck the E string, and then index finger will pluck the B string. So it's together, thumb, index, thumb, middle, index. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Now to finger pick the F chord, we have the F like this or like this. I'm going to be using this, and my thumb will pluck the D string and my middle finger is going to pluck the E string at the same time. My thumb will now move down to the G string, index will pluck the B string, thumb will go back to the G string, then middle finger the E string, and then index finger the B string. So let's try that again. Together, G string, B string, G string, E string, B string. So I'll demo that a couple of times. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and together and 2 and 3 and together and 2 and 3 and together and 2 and 3 and. Now for a G7, it's very much like the C chord that I plucked, but now my thumb is going to pluck the E string and the high E string together. So thumb will pluck the low E string, middle finger will pluck the high E string. Now my thumb is going to move down to the D string, index finger will pluck the B string, thumb will pluck the G string, then middle finger the E string, and then index finger the B string. So just like the C chord that I plucked before, but it's now, my thumb is going to be plucking the low E string. So it'll sound like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and one more time. 1 and 2 and 3 and. So now that you've learned the finger picking pattern for each chord, we're going to put everything together. The intro is your C finger picking pattern for 4 measures, or 4 finger picking patterns, which is together, thumb, index, thumb, middle, index, together, thumb, index, thumb, middle, index. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Now we come to the verse. We have C for 2 measures, F for 2 measures or 2 finger picking patterns, G7 for 2 finger picking patterns, 2 measures, a C for a measure, and a G7 for a measure. So let's give that a try. 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 now we have our F chord. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and G7 for 2 measures. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and C chord for a measure. And 2 and 3 and now G7 for a measure. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Second part of the verse, very similar. 2 measures of C, 2 measures of F, and then we have 2 measures of G7, but now at the end, instead of switching from a C to a G7, we just have 2 measures of C. Let's try that. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and now F. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and now G7. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 C. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Now we have the chorus. We have a G7 at first for 1 finger picking pattern. 1 and 2 and 3 and now an old rugged cross. You're going to be holding that G7, but I'm going to be plucking the E and the E string, both E strings. Now, index finger is going to move to the first fret of the B string. I'm going to be plucking that open A string. And then from here, it's going to be second fret of the A string and then the open B string. So it's an octave, like that. So I have old rugged cross, old rugged, and then I have C for 2 measures of the finger picking pattern. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and now I have an F chord. Now we have last I lay down. You're going to be plucking the E, the B, and the D strings together. So thumb, index, and middle. Now move your middle finger to the second fret of the D string. Keep your index finger where it is on the first frets. Yeah, first fret of the E and the B string. And then release that D string. And then back to a C chord for 2 finger picking patterns. So let's try that. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and old, rugged, C chord. 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and F chord. 1 and 2 and 3 and now we have last I lay down. Da, da, lay down. And we all cling to the old rugged cross. We have our C chord, and I'll cling, old rugged, F chord, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and G7. A crown. The play along is next so you can hear how everything fits together. 1 and 2 and 3 and on a hill far away stood an old rugged cross, the emblem of suffering and shame. I love that old cross, here the dearest and best, for a world of lost sinners was slain. So I'll cherish the old rugged cross till my trophies at last I lay down. I will cling to the old rugged cross and exchange it someday for a crown. rugged cross, so despised by the world, has wondrous attraction for me. For the dear Lamb of God left his glory above to bear it to dark Calvary. So I'll cherish the old rugged cross till my trophies at last I lay down. I will cling to the old rugged cross and exchange it someday for a crown. So I'll cherish the old rugged cross till my trophies at last I lay down. I will cling to the old rugged cross and exchange it someday for a crown. Now the ball is in your court. Use this to serve other people. Use this to serve your congregations. Use this to lead people into worship and into His presence. Okay? Remember, you are loved, and if you would like another finger picking song that is similar to this one, I'm going to put that in the link over here. I'll see you there. Bye.